Maleficent5 here, and I've come to talk to all of you about Mass Effect 3, as obvious over there. It's been, what, over a week or so since I finished the game, a little over, by about maybe a day, and I wanted to talk about the issue that is pressing the internet. I know a lot of people have already probably talked about it. A lot of people trolling out there. And I hate to admit it, I agree with the trolls. Some of them. I'm not big on trolling. I don't do the whole comment on every forum I can find kind of thing. It's just not me. So I decided to make this video instead to address Mass Effect 3 in general, address the gaping issue that is the ending, and maybe make a plea to BioWare a little bit. I doubt they're going to watch this video, but I just want to say something. Let's get the basic thing out of the way first. Mass Effect 3 is not a bad game. It really isn't. It's what you come to expect at this point, especially if you started with 1. And as usual, 95% of the story is actually pretty good. I was some points blown away, other points like, okay, that's alright. But the story is not bad. The ending is terrible. I'll get to that later. But the story itself isn't bad. I'm trying to think how I want to say this. I don't want to spoil. I'm gonna try to avoid spoilers. So I'm trying to think of what to say here. Okay. For example, for the story, as I said, comes what to expect, and this is gonna be a story based off of my campaign. I know other people's stories will be different, but to simplify things, I'm just gonna go with what I did. And some of the scenes that really got to me were the deaths of 2 of my former squad mates. For me, in Mass Effect 2, I got everyone to survive, so pretty much everyone that was in Mass Effect 2 was in this game. And some of the best written scenes, in my opinion, was the deaths of 2 of these characters. I had 3 of them die on me in this game, and one of them didn't impact me as much as the other 2. Not that it was a bad scene. I actually thought it was a really, really good scene. But, it's... I'm trying to think how to put this. It just didn't have as much of an impact on me. The thing is, 2 of these characters that died, I honestly thought would be dead before this game even started because I didn't know how much time's gone by. Apparently 6 months. One of them still could have been dead by that point. One from old age, the other one from disease. Kind of a hint of what I'm talking about. But, it was just very powerful scenes. One sacrificed himself, the other one fighting a cyborg ninja. I had to kind of laugh when I first saw that, especially when I was playing him. But his death scene after that was just so well written, so well performed, that it actually moved me to tears. The other one with another character's death scene, and when I mentioned the scenario, it's going to be really obvious who it is. The other character's death scene that got to me was during the Geth-Quarian War? Guess you could say it's a war, lack of better things, maybe a major skirmish. Actually, that was also very well written, and it's what I came to expect, especially with what you learned about the Quarians and the Geth, especially Mass Effect 2. And the whole thing plays out very well. I really liked how it was written. I like how it ended. And as I said, the last bit actually moved me somewhat to tears. Not as much as the previous character's death scene, but still was a very well written scene. But, as I said, story-wise, it's mostly what you've come to expect with the exception of the ending. And I will get to the ending in a bit. I don't want to get to it just yet. Just simply put, the story's very good. Now, for the gameplay, it's still decent. It's what I came to expect. A few additions here and there, maybe some things maybe like one or two things taken out at most. Some of the additions worked, like, the ability to run without having to worry about stamina, the whole dodge system thing, which was new. Some of the new powers were kind of neat. I like how level cap went back up to 60. And I like how New Game Plus is back in this game too. Granted, Mass Effect 2 didn't have a New Game Plus for a reason that I do understand. It kind of did and it didn't. Still. I mean, gameplay is what you come to expect. There's nothing new that's going to horribly fascinate me. The scanning system, though, can be a titch... I won't say aggravating, but just mildly annoying. Not as tedious as it was in the Mass Effect 2, but it's made just a tad more difficult. For those of you who've played it, you know what I'm talking about. It's not difficult that you start bashing your head against the wall or anything. It's just mildly annoying. Well, as I said, good story, good gameplay. I got the basics out of the way. The ending. This is the part I really have to address. And it was, for me, an experience that I don't even know what to call it. I was filled with rage. I was going through a bad time anyways, but I was filled with rage. I could not believe what I saw was real. I honestly couldn't. Every time I thought about it, I thought I had to have dreamed it. And here's what I want to say. I'll go into details about this. I'm going to try to avoid spoilers as much as I can, but it's going to be kind of hard when I'm trying to describe this. At the very end of the Battle on Earth campaign, which is the finale of the game, and that's not really a big spoiler because you knew it was going to happen, which is actually a really cool scene, even as it starts, and it is hard. But at the end of it, a Shepard and an assault squad and the two people with you go for a final charge to get into the catalyst. I will not tell you what the catalyst is. No, you know what? I'm not going to say anything because it will spoil. But you charge into the catalyst. A Reaper, I'm assuming Harbinger, it's never detailed if it's anyone specific, does attempt to stop you and kind of shoot down the assault squad. Shepard still is able to make it onto the catalyst in the end. Or make it into the catalyst. However you want to put it. Make it to the catalyst. And only Shepard and Anderson get up there. Now, there's something else that has to do with that Reaper attacking scene. I will go into that later. But that one's it's a debatable thing. Sorry, I'm going off topic. Okay, you make it there. You and Anderson make it to the heart of the catalyst, for lack of better words. And the thing is, at this point you're both fighting indoctrination because at this point there's Reapers all over the damn place, and they don't want you getting that thing activated. I'm getting the Crucible activated, actually is what I should say. And you are both temporarily stopped by trying to decide if I should spoil who else is there or not. It's not a huge surprise, but you know what? I won't say anything. I won't say who it is, even though it's really obvious. I'm just going to say the villain. Or a villain. I'm going to say the villain right now because it's just easier for me. The villain, who is already completely indoctrinated and actually turning into a Reaper-ish husk thing himself. and he ends up dying. The catalyst is connected to the crucible, and the next scene is actually a really, really cool scene of Shepard and Anderson, weak as can be, sitting there watching what will happen unfold in space, obviously. And honestly, if you stopped the playable portion there, if you stopped it right there, with an actual ending attached to that, I would have been fine. That actually was a good scene to end on, even though I'll get to it. I won't mention it yet. It's another small spoiler thing of something that doesn't make sense to me. But no, that's not where it ends. Apparently, you get a call from Hackett that it's not working for some reason, and then you're taken to this other area. And this is pretty much the point where I swear it really does leave the universe that is established by BioWare for Mass Effect. It's something I didn't get exactly. They still didn't explain anything. You are met by this being, try not to spoil things anyways, you're met by this being who tells you the purpose of the Reapers, but to be quite honest, they still don't tell you the origin. I don't know. That really is a nitpick, though. I don't really care that much about that part. But it states that no matter what, organic synthetics are going to kill each other. Synthetics, wow, sorry. And I was like, I can easily try to disprove that. Look at the Geth and the Quarians for me. I got them to live together. That was just me. And I'm like, I could probably disprove that. I think your solution, whatever it talks about, doesn't work. And I don't know, the being refuses still. And you're given 3 choices for an ending. I'm using a lot of quotations in this. Sorry. The choices are to become a Reaper and control them. You'll technically kill Shepard's organic body, and Shepard will become a Reaper for some reason, somehow. Merge organic life with synthetic life. Not entirely certain how you're supposed to do that as well. But to me, that just means the cycle starting all over again. Or destroy the Reapers, which is what to be all gung-ho for, but doing so will destroy all synthetic life and the mass relays. Say what now? That's the only way you can have the possibility of Shepard surviving, and I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, why? It's never really explained. And of course I took the destroy Reaper route. I mean, I started this out to kill the bastards, and I'm going to finish them. And the scene that plays out is so riddled with plot holes and does not answer anything, does not end anything. Well, I guess it does end stuff, but you don't really have a sense of closure. And I'm going to describe exactly what happens here, because here's the point where I don't give a damn about spoilers. And apparently, from what I've heard, most of the endings are the same anyways. I don't think there really is an ending that isn't like this. Well, at least very similar. There are apparently some minor differences. What happened is the catalyst in the crucible shoot off this big boom. I'm going to say a big EMP type thing, but it's not an EMP since it doesn't disable all electronics, so I don't know what the hell it is.